Welcome to DVC Alumni, where every story inspires the next. The Alumni Podcast, where you get to hear the inspiring stories and transformation that DVC has had to offer its alumni. And now, on with the episode. And we are live. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hey, what's going on? My name is Aaron Bronson Pinkney. That's what I go by here on the island of Guam. That's where I currently reside.
Cool. I just got to write that down. We connected on LinkedIn, and then when I started seeing kind of bits and pieces, I was just, oh my gosh, we have to connect. And then you were kind enough to send me back a link, it was like, and then you sent me more information, but we'll kind of go down that rabbit hole in a bit. But
Yeah,
why don't you start with where you grew up there on the island? Somehow you ended up here in California. Why don't you and then ended up at DVC? Let's start with that part of the whole story.
Okay. First of all, I was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania area, Downtown, Coastville. That's where I was actually born. My mom's a military. I became military brat. So we ended up moving to California after a while when she got stationed out there in Sacramento, of all places. So we were up at Marysville. We were up at Beale Air Force Base. We were in that general area for a little while. Moved to San Bernardino area, then moved out to the Bay Area. I moved to Hayward. So I grew up really in Hayward. That's where I went to junior high. That's where I went to school. And then I ended up going to moving to Antioch for a little bit of time. And then that's how I started going to DVC. And I love DVC. I mean, I was working at UPS at the time, and one of my friends was there, and he was like, "Hey, man, I know we're done with high school, but why don't we just try right now? Let's go see what we can do and do kind of what we want to do." And communications, the major, of course.
Okay. So if you don't mind sharing, not everybody wants to when it's been a while. When were you here at DVC?
I was here at DVC 1992 to 1994.
Okay.
I got associates in communications. And of course, I took business and all of those things as well. Took African American history. I mean, they have so many different great classes. I mean, DVC is just awesome college.
Yeah. So what was your favorite memory at DVC, and who was your favorite teacher?
Oh my goodness. You bragging my brain for the teacher. I'm not sure, but I know I took a radio business class, and my teacher showed me different tricks. We did a reenactment of Pulp Fiction. We played Samuel L. Jackson, maybe wearing a little afro on my head, and gave us a little cap gun, and like, he just kind of really getting that real thing of audio and different sound and learning how to really make it all pop when it comes to trying to reenact something or do any type of drama or do anything that's media related. They were just teaching us all kinds of different tricks. But that was one of my favorite memories for sure. Definitely.
So you can put that on your resume. You were at Samuel L. Jackson at DVC. So, okay. So, you had a great time here. Were you involved in any extracurriculars or like clubs or anything like that? Or
really, I worked a lot. I was working UPS at the same time, so I really didn't have too many extracurricular. And then I joined the military. So then, that kind of became kind of the thing that I finished up, got my associates, and then went into the military from there. But I didn't really do anything much extracurricular besides work, because UPS, you're working. I mean, you're working and you work day, and then when you're done with your schooling, you go back to work. So it was kind of like that. And yeah.
So you went on to the military. So just take it to a left, and keep in mind, we don't have a time frame for any of this. You just get to tell your story, all the highs and lows, and So where did you go into the military?
I went into the military. Military was really fun. I went to San Antonio for my basic training because I was in the Air Force. So once I got to basic training, you take that long bus and you get there and you meet your TI and everybody's bringing their bags. It's freezing cold I'm coming from California. I'm used to all that beautiful weather. I'm getting out there. It was like January 1996. It's freezing in San Antonio. I'm thinking it's, I'm seeing pictures of San Antonio, maybe watching basketball. I'm thinking it's like desert area, no hills, whatever. But it was very cold when we first got there. That was a surprise. And then just all the shock of just being told what to do. And you know how to, I mean, basic training is a mess. And if you got a really good TI, and we were part of a really good squadron down there we were at Lackland Air Force Base was definitely for basic training. And I loved it too. It was awesome, man. It was awesome. It was hard. I seen a lot of people crying on their phones when they got a chance to call their family during our basic training. Went from there to tech school. After that, I think it was almost like a month and a half, 2 months at basic training, and then we went to tech school in Shepherd Air Force Base, Wichita Falls, Texas, is where I went from there. And then from there, I was stationed at Biloxi, Mississippi, at Keesler Air Force Base for about 4 years. Did 4 years there, so I did 4 years in the military, 4 years reserves, and then found Guam really by accident as well. From there it was one of my friends was actually touring. He did music, so I was kind of into hip hop and all of those type of things. He was like, "Hey, let's go out to Korea and check Korea out." We went out to
Wait, 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 wait. Whoa, 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 whoa. So we kind of like went through the military. That was it. So you went from Biloxi, Mississippi, which is not exactly the coolest, hippest place in
Oh
the
my
world,
goodness.
and now you're touring the world with hip hop. So come on, you got to elaborate, man. Tell the story.
We jumped on a hop. I don't know if you know what a hop. A hop is
No.
like a military has things called hops where you can get on like a almost virtually a free airplane ride to anywhere that you're trying to go, as long as you make it like business related. So once we did that, it was like I got on a hop, we went to the Air Force Base. How much is it gonna be? $10, $10 to fly from here to Guam. Oh my goodness. So we flew all the way to Korea first. We went to Korea because we had business there. He had like a different a music thing set up, some different things set up as far as doing messing with artists. He was recording music out there. He got some type of deal, so he invited me along. So we went out there and did that. And from there, it got hard because it we really had to showcase our talent too, as well, as far as doing hip hop and knowing how to do production style things, and audio really came into play. DVC and all of that came back into play. All the things I learned, all the tricks I learned, and it really got us, recognized out there as doing a few things. So I love Seoul. Seoul, Korea is where we were for a while. I stayed there maybe like a year and a half, 2 years, and then we came to Guam. So Guam was just beautiful.
So
Guam
you,
was
so you sounds like you were headed through Guam, like kind of on a stop,
Yeah, we
right?
were.
And then
Guam was one place now.
you stepped off the plane. Tell us about that first stepped off the plane.
The heat hit me like before anything else. It was like, oh my gosh. I mean, the humidity here and the heat of Guam is something else, but it's a beautiful thing when you first get here. The welcoming people. I mean, when you first get in the airport is well, there's a lot of greeting people there. It's mostly family and everybody's so well connected here. Guam's probably like 80-90% Catholic here as well when it comes to the religion. So it's beautiful. They have 3 military bases on Guam. Um, oh my goodness. The local scene is very bustling. Chamorro is the original language of Guam as well. So you have people, you have a lot of Americans that are here. You have a lot of people from different countries that are here as well. Australia, everywhere, because it's so close. It's like the tip. And you have so many ways to go. You can hit Japan from here. You can hit the Philippines from here. You can hit Asia and China and everywhere else, and on from here. But it's a gateway. That's what I see with Guam, that's for sure.
Right. So you obviously, so talk about how this love of Guam developed as because of course your first experience was like opening the sauna, but
Yes.
you obviously, since you're still there.
When I came to Guam, we were still doing the music thing too as well. So my friend dropped an album here, And we were on it. We did the music and everything. So radio stations let us come up here on Guam to talk about the album. So we were just doing those type of things around here. And I actually ended up meeting my wife here. So that's why it really from there, my
Ooh,
beautiful wife, Miss Vanessa. So once I met her, we connected so well. And then it was like a few things going on back in California with my mom. So my mom had gotten sick a little bit. So I ended up going back to California at maybe like around 2001. And then we ended up going back there. And then my wife came and joined me in California. So, we stayed out there till about 2008. And then we ended up coming back to Guam because we just missed it. We missed the love. And she had a lot of family here, and I have family here, so it just made sense to us at the
yeah.
time. And we've been here. That's a lot of years already.
Yeah. So you bounce back here to California to help take care of your mom, which we always got to do that. Got to take care of the family. But you also met your amazing wife. Talk about her a little bit, because
Oh my goodness,
obviously
she's
you feel
beautiful.
about your wife the way I feel about mine. But that's, I think, us guys, we're in a rare spot. So
She is my everything. I mean, and she has always been by my side. I had a few things that have happened through my life. I've had a couple of brain surgeries and all types of things as well. So, because I've had like tumors in my head and things of that nature. So, I've had a couple. She was one of the first ones to tell me, "Hey, you've been having headaches since you were young. Maybe you should go get that checked out. You got in an accident when you were younger. All of these different things." So, once I did that, the doctor saw the first tumor, and like it was kind of a reoccurring thing. I've had a couple of them removed, but just that person that's been by my side and just always just loving and caring. I've never met anyone as loving and caring as my wife. And just talking about but I love her. I love her for sure. That's
so
always.
yeah, so you've had a couple, and you alluded it to in my message. So talk a little bit about kind of what you went through with the brain surgeries and stuff like that, because I mean that had to have been scary,
It was
and
very scary.
to have somebody outside of you go, hey, you need to go get that taken a look
Yeah.
at. So talk about that, kind of that whole process and stuff like that. So
Well, with the brain, well, the first thing is they do the scans. The doctor did a CT scan was first, and then they found something, so they got a little deeper. So they're like, "Hey, let's do an MRI. Let's do an MRI." Did an MRI, and there's different kinds of MRIs. There's one where they put like a IV in you so they can get the fluid so they can see it clear. So I think they did that, and then they put like this head, like a monitor thing on your head while they put you inside of the MRI machine so it can monitor you a little better. Well, they found the tumor in the back of my head. It was a benign tumor, which was good. So that means, it wasn't cancerous. But what it was doing was putting pressure on my brain, and it was growing. So they had to, hurry up and do surgery. And, surgery, it takes a lot. Craniotomy, they got to enter your skull, and those type of things. But most doctors, they're able to stitch you up. You get staples afterwards, post-op. And surgery usually takes maybe 4 to 5 hours, maybe sometimes a little longer, depending on, because it's a very delicate thing. Your
mhm.
head and your body has to be put in a certain position while they're operating. And, it's, yeah. But there's a lot of things that happen after surgery. You still have swelling, you still have dizziness, you still have those type of things. And like I said, it was reoccurring. So I had to have it again. I started having a lot more pains, and it came back. So I went and got another scan just to see what's going on, and it was there again. So yeah, just something I always got to keep on my mind.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and,
uh,
and you're fortunate you have somebody by your side to kind of help you monitor that and also help you through the rehab on it. What were you doing for work at this point? Because it sounds like you've kind of stepped aside from the music business a little bit, at
yeah,
least in that respect. So, what was that transition like? Because you've obviously put roots down in Guam, which the weather kind of has me a little jealous, but that's okay. It's raining here in California, so well, I mean, we don't really get weather. Well, you know how it is with our version of weather here. It's
right.
it's it's all I got to do is talk to somebody from the Midwest, and it's like they're just going to laugh at me. But um, But so how did you get from doing the world tour music business thing, and then you kind of moved into other stuff, because obviously you're not going to be touring the world when you're taking care of your mom and you're
Right.
married and stuff. So talk a little bit about that kind of transition from you go from South Korea, living the hip hop lifestyle to,
Uh,
you
it's
know,
over back to reality.
yeah, yeah. So how kind of walk me through the transition on that?
Yeah, it took a little time, and it took a little luck. You walk into things like I got into radio, and radio kind of was something I stumbled upon. My wife was a very good singer, and we were here on Guam. She was actually singing for an event, and she was doing well. One of the people that were in the audience worked for the radio station. Came up, and he was a rapper too. He did his piece. He rapped. We met each other, and we were in the hip hop together, all this stuff. And he was like, "Hey, man, I really like your voice. You know what? You sound like you could do some radio. Why don't you come down?" I started helping him with some of his show. That's how it all kind of started there. So I would do audio. I would give him some songs or whatever, what I had to give. So, and then he was like, "You know what? Come in for an air check. My boss wants to hear you." I told him about your voice. So that I went and checked his boss. And once I checked out his boss, he was like, "Oh man, come on in, you start this weekend." And it was like I was thrown into the fire pan. It was like, "Hey, here you go." And I started on the weekend, just doing weekend shows, and then it developed into being there full time.
Man, so was this before you went to help your mom,
This was
or was it
after. This was
oh,
after getting back. So I stayed in California from 2001 till about '08. And then I came back to Guam in '08. So this happened. I got that job at May. I started radio in about '09.
okay.
About
It, well, and it's one of those things where I mean I work with a lot of the kids here at the college, and frankly anybody less than 50 years old is a kid, but for me, but the thing I look at is it's like being prepared makes all the makes he puts you in a position to take advantage of luck.
right.
If that makes it, because obviously you did the communication class at TVC. You'd been building your craft with R&B and hip hop, and it's like, and you already had the experience on the air, and it's just that opportunity popped, and it's just you
And I
were
just
prepared.
the radio was beautiful. And you got just doing the different stations from top 40, doing radio on top 40 stations, like one of the major stations, to going to the old school stations where we play 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s. And it was just a beautiful. And I've even done like news talk radio as well, where I'm a producer for like veteran shows where they come in and speak as well. So just a lot of exposure there. I even got a chance to work on a television show as well. I started, producing with it and working with Adobe Pro Premiere. I worked with Adobe Audition and a few other different programs that really you had to learn Final Cut Pro, and oh my goodness, just really learning those things, TV scheduling, and they had an ABC affiliate and a Fox affiliate there as well as Sorensen Media Group here on Guam, and yeah, just overall very good. I'm still kind of in communication with them. I moved on even from that as well. I'm working with a legal firm now with my
Ooh.
wife. Yeah, we're working. So
So I will get to that in a minute. So what was your kind of like your out of all, because oh my gosh, I cannot believe the kind of the wide range that you've had with radio, because it's like you've kind of done it. The only thing I'm not going to say it, because I was going to say the only thing you seem to have not done is classical, but you probably did that and you're just not telling me. But and I'm not trying to brag on you, but it's like you've done a ton of stuff with that. And what was like your favorite kind of thing to dig into with radio? What was kind of your favorite thing to do?
I would say favorite thing to do is maybe host big events. There's been some pretty even though we're way out here in Guam, there's some artists that have come here to Guam. Boys to Band have come here. Hip hop artist Fat Joe has come here as well. I know there's a few island artists that have come here as well, and we've gotten to host or we've gotten to interview them, and I think those moments are really big because those are once in a lifetime chances, and I didn't really think I'd get that. being out here to even have a chance to, but people still come, the military brings them, and there's a lot of things that still come and happen around this area as well. But that would probably be it, is really getting a chance to work with some of the bigger stars that I thought I'd never get to work with. Yeah.
Okay, so now I'm going to put you on the spot. What was your favorite interview that you got to do?
Oh my goodness. I would say Fat Joe. Fat
Okay.
Joe's favorite interview. And it was what's so crazy is with him, we did a couple of remote spots, like different events, like prior to him performing and prior to his interview. So I saw him there, and my wife got to take pictures with him, and he'd always look at me and say, "Hey, that's you. I keep seeing you everywhere, man. Where are you?" And, we'd be at another event. "Hey, what's up, man? Hey, there goes that guy again." So it's like I wanted him to kind of already know who I was. So once we got in the booth, "Hey, there he goes. What's happening, man?" So it was easy to really talk with him. But I think that was my favorite because we kind of more connected. The others, I mean, it was cool. It was just cut and dry. We were talking, then that would be the end of it. But with him, I kind of felt that connection with him too as well. And definitely one of my favorites from back in the day
Cool.
on the rap scene.
Yeah, well, and I get that. I mean, I'm having a great time now, by the way. I just want to be very clear about that. So well, no, it's just I feel like we're having a really good time, and it's like I love that connection and energy. So you've transitioned on from radio and television and stuff. So what's the kind of just out of curiosity, what's the radio scene like in Guam now? Because I know here in the Bay Area, it's changed dramatically and
Oh
it's a
my
lot
goodness.
tougher.
It
Yeah.
is really, I think this is just a worldwide thing. I've even been talking with some of my friends in Hawaii. Same thing. You got Spotify, you got all these things that are they can turn to. It's too many different choices now, I think, whereas back in the day you had no choice, but you're in your car, you're gonna turn on the radio. Now you're in your car, you might turn on your phone, you might turn or whatever you use, so it's like it's just a whole different situation. So it's the same in Guam. You have it, but I think they're adapting and because people are becoming more like hands-on. Whereas radio back in the day, it wasn't that hands-on. Now you have to be at events. You have to do more remotes. You have to do these things to kind of entrench yourself in the community. So people just listen out of respect and love. They're not even really thinking about, okay, I need to hear the next great song. They're listening to listen to you. I think that's what, I don't know. That's what the bosses tell me.
I happen to think you're right because it's like I don't listen to the radio much. I've got maybe now I'm probably down to two radio stations to listen to. One is the local high school radio station because they've got a bunch of old guys that go on there and they don't even talk, but they play a bunch of my kind of music, like deep cuts and
Yes.
like late '60s, early '70s, prog rock, and stuff like that. So it's just
It's
like
so hard
it's
to
stuff
find.
you're
Those stations are
never gonna hear even on Spotify, anywhere else. I mean,
no.
super deep in the bra. And then the other one is a couple of characters that I like on the local radio station. But even that's becoming a challenge because, again, like you said, it's just we have so many other places to go
Yeah.
and but I get it. I mean, it's like people fall in love with a character. Like,
Right.
well, you may not be young enough, but there was a guy here in California, Dr. Donald D. Rose. He was on KFRC,
Oh,
and
yes.
yep, the music was awful, but nobody cared. He had this shtick, and he was just everybody loved him, and he was a terrific guy. So
Every
yeah,
time, I mean, those are legends. I mean, a lot of people when they hear my voice, I mean, not to toot the horn, but they say Wolfman Jack. They say the different type of thing, and oh man, I hear that they call up. Who is it?
yeah,
So it's
that's true.
those
You
things from the
said it, and I
beginning.
can I can hear it now. It's just kind of like, okay, well, man, yeah, I can kind of
And
hear it.
that's I mean, I never even thought that in my mind. But when you hear it from other people, and that's one of my favorites all time. There's so many different DJs and different personalities that I've grown to love and respect throughout time. But yes, for sure, that's one of the people that they kind of say I sound like for sure. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, and you have a lot of warmth in your voice, which is, I think, but it's not fake warmth. It's not,
yeah,
hey, how you doing? It's like genuine warmth. which I think is a wonderful thing. So you've moved on from the radio. Talk about how you got from doing radio and producing TV once in a while to now you're working in a law firm with your wife.
Yeah, well, it was so crazy because once there was a big storm that happened here after COVID. COVID kind of really wrecked Guam. Guam really depends on tourism and things of that nature. But when COVID came, it really restricted a lot of Asian countries that really visit Guam a lot. So that kind of really put a hurting on Guam, and it put a hurting on the radio scene too as well. So the Sorensen Media Group had to close. I mean, the whole
Oh,
entire media group closed down. So we had to find new jobs. So it was kind of like you're thrust out there. And always my wife was already working for a law firm, but I found another law firm kind of on the outside, and I started working for them at first. And just to kind of get my feet wet and see what it was like. And just being more of a secretary and runner and things of that nature. And I was like, okay, I can do this, and I think one of my bosses, one of my wife's bosses, was like, hey, you know what? I see his husband over there. He's doing something, and he might be able to do that here too as well. Can you come on? So it was like, all right, it was an easy transition. Once start working with my wife and doing the law firm thing there, but the law scene is in some ways it reminds me of the medical scene, because when I was doing medical with the Air Force, that was my job. So I was working like medical records and things. But law firm has records as well. They got law records, they got legal records, they got all these different things as well. So it was kind of like still keeping track of those. Still, it's kind of like the same road and just learning the different things as well. There's a lot to learn about law. It's a lot going to court all the time, getting patted down before you enter, and just
well,
different.
I hate to say it, but I'm glad to hear that the courthouse on Guam is not any different than the courthouse here. So,
It's the
so
same thing.
yeah, so so how long have you been doing and so you're basically like a legal secretary
Yeah,
and a runner at the
yeah.
law firm. So how have you found that transition from, you know, being the voice and the nuts and bolts behind a radio program to doing what you're doing? I mean, have you
You
enjoyed the
know,
transition?
I mean, I think I've enjoyed it, but to the extent it's so crazy because when I answer the phone, hey, you called such and such. Is this Bronson? People walk in and they hear me. Hi, would you need? Do you need a drink? Come in, come on in. I'll take you to the conference. Are you Bronson? I heard your voice before. Are you on the radio? So I mean, it's always kind of like that same kind of thing that's over and over and over again with that. But it's I still love it. I still love the law firm and I love radio. And if the chance comes again and I can do both, I'll do both. But right now, I'm just loving where I'm at and I'm loving working with my wife. And I got two kids. Yeah, I got a daughter. I got two daughters, two girls. One is 20, what, 21, 22. The other one's 10. So big gap, age gap. And they're both beautiful. And one works with a senator here on island and she goes to college and she's doing a lot. The other one's still growing and just beautiful. Just blessed, man. I'm blessed here.
So it's quite apparent you love your life. I don't know why this popped in my head, but I almost never asked it. So if you had it to do over again, would you do anything different?
I wouldn't do anything different. I think the only thing I would have done maybe is ask for more money from the radio stations. I think it was like I think we were all at that range towards the end. We were like, man, this is okay, but we're like super struggling. And then, it just ended. So it was just like, wow, we never even got to that point where because I really love radio, no, and I wish it was in a better state, but it's just really not right now.
Yeah. And I think that and podcasts have kind of like that's like the next thing, like what we're doing.
Podcasting is a beautiful thing. What you're
Yeah,
doing
that's
is awesome, man. I really appreciate it too.
Oh, I so much appreciate you coming in here and working with me on this. Uh, but I think podcasts, like you said, Spotify and Apple, and stuff like that is one place to go get your music as well as YouTube. But if you want to hear to talk content, you've got podcasts, and there's
Right.
a million of them out there. So it's a matter of finding a way to get some sort of voice out there. So I think we're kind of wrapping up here. So what a like insight would you like to share with anybody?
Really is follow your dreams. I mean, I came out in the Guam on a hunch, and I found my life. It's like a lot of people are scared to leave their town, let alone travel thousands of miles away. But you never know. I think the military was the first tip, even though a lot of people, are for or against it. But when when I did that, it kind of opened me up more to be able to make a move like come to Guam or Korea and places of that nature. 'Cause, I mean, man, think about it. You got North Korea wasn't too far away, and it's just so wild to know that so many places you can be and not be.
Yeah, yeah, I'm just I've traveled a little bit, nothing like that, and it just makes me regret. That's one of my few regrets in my life that I didn't take advantage of something like that because it's like I got, everybody I know that's been in the military. I mean, some of it was great, some of it was awful, but it's like
Right.
all of life, and the fact that they got to go do, it's like I can honestly say I didn't go to Seoul, South Korea. I've never been to Guam, though I would love to come out because I hear it's
Oh my
beautiful.
goodness, you gotta come somehow. You gotta get out. And I know right now those airplane tickets and prices are not, yeah, but
Well, I mean, if I go out there, I'm gonna bring my wife, and we'll probably stop there on the way through to some place like
right.
Australia, but we would stop on purpose to kind of and I'll give you a holler, and we'll go get a
That's
cup of
right.
coffee.
Anytime we are here. I'm not going nowhere. This is where we're gonna be for a while, and I just see everything going on in the world. I think we're probably in the safest spot, man.
Yeah. Well, listen, Bronson, it has been absolutely a pleasure. I have thoroughly enjoyed this. It is Friday here in California. I'm saying that so everybody understands that it's what midday morning in
It
Saturday, and
is it is 8:30 AM Saturday morning.
yeah, it's 3:30 Friday afternoon here. So and again, I really appreciate this, and we may have to do a follow up at some point
Oh,
a
yes.
little further down the road, like especially if you get a radio job, and that way
Heck
we'll
yeah.
pipe in your radio here to DVC. So
Thank you so much, man. Keep doing what you're doing for DVC. I miss it. I might have to come back there and visit you guys too.
I'll buy you a cup of coffee and all right, thanks a lot.
Thanks, man.
You bet.
Thank you for tuning in to DVC Alumni, where every story inspires the next, the podcast for the DVC Alumni Association. You can contact us at alumni@dvc.edu with any comments, and be sure to leave a like and subscribe to our podcast.